And I've always had a saying, and that healing doesn't happen alone. Being connected to other humans, that's where transformations occur, and those are some of the most impactful, meaningful opportunities we have in life.
Steve Marler says is 80% of all adults over the age of 40 have an undiagnosed asymptomatic health condition. And untreated, it usually leads to a disease, and it could be a very bad disease.
I think it's for people who recognize that when health improves, everything improves. And that means your business, your life, your creativity, the innovations. It's for people who want to make their next 10 years their healthiest and their best 10 years, their most fulfilling and meaningful 10 years.
Hey everyone, this is Mike Koenigs. Welcome to another episode of Capability Amplifier. I have a very special guest today, and his name is Regan Archibald. Now, Regan and I have been working together. We know each other from Free Zone. If you're not familiar with what Free Zone is, this is part of Strategic Coach. It's run by Dan Sullivan, and the whole notion that Dan has is a Free Zone is a place where you do non-competitive, complementary businesses that you work together to create a free market zone or a free zone where both people get to do what they're great at. And neither one of them owns each other's businesses, but the collaboration creates a 10x opportunity. Well, the reason I brought Regan on today is we've been doing a free zone. We're going to tell you about it, deconstruct it, and give you an idea of hopefully something that you could do yourself with other complementary, non-competitive business types. So first of all, Regan, great to be here with you today, my friend.
Yeah, happy to be back, Mike.
All right, so let's talk just a little bit about what we did. First of all, is there anything else that you want to add that I may have forgotten about with Free Zone? Because I did forget one detail, but first I want to pitch it over to you.
No, I think the whole notion of the Free Zone is where there's an environment that you create with another organization that doesn't already exist. And so that's exactly what we've done, because I asked you this morning, I said, I don't know of anyone else who's doing it like this.
Yeah, I agree. And here's what was great. Today, we over the past couple days, we put together a pitch deck. So basically, we invented the brand name for this, even though we've done 3 of them now, where we've executed this. And we put together a full presentation and a brand, and we got to present it to someone that you've already got a deal going, but now we've packaged it in such a way that they're like, we want more of this. So we were able to really test it out. And as Dan would say, you've got to test things out on check writers first.
Right.
So with that, let's just talk a little bit about what this is, what we put together. We can talk about the deal. We'll deconstruct it. And again, my goal is for everyone who's listening or watching to be inspired and maybe make a call today for someone they can do something like this with them. And also they'll see how we've taken our superpowers, our unique abilities, combined them together with our organizations. And also we're bringing in a third party. So we're creating a free zone with a big opportunity angle to it as well. So with that, again, I'm going to pitch it back to you. Anything you want to add before we just go back and forth and describe what it is?
Well, I think the last Free Zone, Dean Jackson brought up the VCR model.
Which is?
It's vision, capability, or capacity, and reach. And so I thought, well, that's exactly what we're doing, because all we're doing is with the Wealth Longevity Institute, which we'll talk about, is we've got capacity, we've got the capabilities of bringing other groups into the clinic and really transforming their health. You've got the capabilities of helping people transform their business to the next level, their next move, no matter where they're at in life. Not only that, but bringing on new business technology. And then there's other people like who we met with today who have reach. And so they say, man, this will save us so much time, so much energy. And they were relieved. You could visibly see them just relax. They're like, you just saved us so much work. And we're like, well, great. It saved us a lot of work too.
Totally. Yeah. So And maybe just full disclosure, it was Brian Sweet, Brittany Anderson that we shared this with. And I got to give them a lot of credit because the original concept behind this came from a project we were working on together. And you and I had been talking about something like this, but the way we put it all together is, and maybe we'll just, before we describe that, I think we'll just tell everyone what Wealth Longevity Institute is, because the basic idea is, and the promise we have is an innovative lifestyle experience where we provide cutting edge diagnostics, innovative age reversal, advanced business systems to free your time, optimize your health, and create wealth. That's the big promise we make. And the pain that every founder we know has is our business lifestyles always impact our health, our life, our energy, and it either depletes all of those, and very often our relationships with our spouse, our family, our team. And when entrepreneurs like us get into a mode where we're constantly performing, oftentimes running away from old traumas we haven't resolved, we forget to have fun. We forget to celebrate our big wins. And when we do have a success, there's always another one right around the corner. And we want to find not only a better way to enjoy our success, but what drives most founders is freedom, connection, growth, and lifestyle. So our goal was, how do we, first of all, do what you do, which is diagnose and treat and elevate? And I was a customer before we started officially working together. I was like, oh my, this is awesome. Hey, Regan, I know a whole bunch of people need you. And hey, let's do a group and bring in a bunch of folks. Yep. Had another client, Steve Marler, who has Advanced Body Scan, who does head to toe body scans, brain scans, ultrasound, screenings. Really great compliment for you. And then I taught what I taught, which is business building and marketing and branding, and usually some other thing that's kind of cutting edge. And then we've always got people we know who we'd love to bring in who complement all this and create a well-rounded opportunity. And then why don't we also do this in a really cool location?
Right.
So that's the experiential part. And originally, one of the drivers of this was I was working with Brittany and Brian. They wanted to access more better customers who are high net worth, oftentimes family offices. They're a hard market to reach and attract. And, the question became, how do they attract more like them? And I said, well, give them the one thing money can't buy, which is usually extend their life or increase their health span, and do it with a whole bunch of bonuses. And they were like, yeah, let's do it. How can we start? And I said, I have a great idea. Let's prototype it. I'll invite a whole bunch of people I know. You guys come and we'll create the curriculum and I'll introduce you to all the people who can make this happen. And they're like, all right, let's do it. And that's what brought this thing together. So again, I'm going to pitch it back to you. What did I forget to mention so far? Or, and then talk a little bit about what really worked, because you really launched this and you got people so sucked in. And virtually everyone in the room became your client, which was awesome. You also hooked them with a great gift, and it deepened some relationships at the same time. Everyone walked away. Most people end up doing business with each other, as good entrepreneurs would. And they also created lifelong relationships, not to mention the fact that you saved some lives in the process. So over to you.
Well, I think one of the most captivating things is when you can get together as a group and you've got your blood labs in front of you and you start seeing the data that's there. And instead of the proverbial, your labs look great, Mike. We looked at it, everything looks fine. And you're like, well, actually, I'm seeing low, I'm seeing high. Mm-hmm. You smell something that's off. And so when we can go through all those lab markers and then show them what the functional blood chemistry looks like versus conventional ranges, and then I can actually go through each one of those lab values and I can say, well, how many of you get hangry? I mean, if your hemoglobin A1C is anything above about a 5.5, there's probably some dysglycemia going on. And the symptoms are going to be, anywhere from shakiness between meals or grumpiness. to lightheadedness, brain fog, afternoon energy crashes is a big one. And the weirdest one is like skin tags. So I actually had everybody take off their shirt so I could see if they have. I'm joking.
Exactly. Not in a group. Not in a group.
That's a joke.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
But no, skin tags are a real thing, and we just started going down the list, and it's interesting because people are like, hey, wait, well, I have absolute cold hands, cold feet all the time, and I'm like, well, okay, let's look at your thyroid markers, and they're like, no one's ever talked to me about my thyroid markers, and I said, well, no one actually ran the right labs for you. First of all, they ran TSH, T4. We're looking at 10 different markers, and you can look on their labs right there, and you can see, well, your free T3 is low and your thyroid antibodies are high. So there's a good chance your thyroid's got some issues, and that's what's contributing to your cold hands and cold feet. With the Mel's in the room, we talk about lack of ambition, lack of drive, where, when you can't celebrate wins in your company and when you just feel chronically burned out, I run testosterone, and I find that testosterone levels can be, actually I saw the lowest testosterone levels ever in my entire 20 years of practice, and it was 97 for a man. And we want male testosterone to be between 700 and 900. So when we look at those, it's eye-opening because so many people have imbalances, and they think that they're just depressed, or that maybe they're at a stage in life where they should retire or do something different, and they need some big shift. And sometimes it's just as simple as refilling the hormones.
Yeah. And I'm going to just show for anyone watching this on YouTube right now, and if you don't, one of the things that we'll do is in show notes, we have some of the slides that Regan and I put together. But what you're looking at, if you're listening to this right now, is a blood lab report. It is a real one of an ADHD entrepreneur. Ding, ding, ding. And anything that's red is bad. If it's yellow, it's caution. If it's white, it's good, or green, it's good.
Pink is dangerous.
It is, okay.
Pink is where and actually this particular patient, we had all 5 of the pinks are now gone. And that's where there's crisis. So you can see his platelets are high, his ferritin's high, his cholesterol like dangerously high.
Okay, so back to what we're looking at here. Here's what's important, and what I offered to do. I said, okay, I'm going to agree to give up my HIPAA rights. Regan, I'd like you to show my blood panel result. I haven't even seen these yet. Tell me what's going on. And you went through and said, okay, well, and the way you do things, which is super interesting to an attendee, is, are you feeling brain fog? Are you low on energy? Have you lost your drive? Are you anxious? Do you wake up feeling sad in the morning? And of course, when you're looking at a blood panel, the answer to everything you're asking is, of course, yes, 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 yes. How do you know all these things? And he'll go, well, here's why. And when you look at the result in your blood panel, and here is what you should do. Well, the comfort it gives you, the certainty it gives you is great. Now, again, going back to what happened the first time we did this, not only did everyone start with the blood panel, we found, and this is what Steve Marler says, is 80% of all adults over the age of 40 have an undiagnosed asymptomatic health condition. And untreated, it usually leads to a disease, and it could be a very bad disease. Now, in the case of 18 people who are there, 5 of them had pretty significant health conditions. One of them had an undiagnosed brain aneurysm. One of them was on a lot of medications, had weight issues, and more. And then 3 others had serious blood issues that they weren't aware of. And they subsequently, every one of them, to the best of my knowledge, started working with you, and they started seeing immediate results, including the guy who was on 5 medications. Why don't you talk about his results? Because this is where this gets interesting. So not only did we all get educated because people felt open about sharing what was going on, and we got to learn from each other's bodies.
Yeah.
And we haven't even gotten to the other days, the other deliverables that made this so fun.
Right. Well, and this particular patient, he was at a time of his life where he was making big transitions. He wanted to do things differently this time around. And he really did the work. And over time, he was able to work with his doctors, getting off the medication. He's still on one medication for an autoimmune condition. I don't want to reveal too much because we don't have his permission, but even that, he was able to postpone his infusions. So beyond thrilled, when you see him, he looks like a different human. And it's been fun for me to see his transformation, and fun for others because it's a conversation starter. You look great. What have you been doing?
Totally. Yeah. That showed up in the first month, and I just talked to him last week. And not only does he look like a completely different person, part of it's because the amount of weight. How much weight has he lost total so far?
36 pounds was the last when I spoke with him.
Yeah, and that's in around 6 months-ish, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So the great thing here, again, getting back to why are we doing this in the first place? First of all, it is a genuine transformational experience for everyone who attends. Lifelong partnerships, relationships, and a genuine, just a great community experience. For you, practically everyone becomes a client, which is really good. And then when we did our next one, similar results. And then we just did another one 2 weeks ago. But here's what changed. So you started out doing the health stuff. For day 2, I ran business stuff. So I did a half a day on AI, how to use AI inside your business. I'll let you comment on that in a moment. And then we did some branding, personal branding, and we also did some hot seats. So we brought in someone who is in transition in his life. He was 60 years old. His wife had died of cancer 6 years before, but because he was well invested, he's able to take off those 6 years to be with his 2 sons who were teenagers when they lost their mother, recover. And now he was getting back into the swing of things as a real estate investor and investment banker. But part of his story is, I was fine. And it's because of how I invested and what I invested. And we, right there in front of everyone, we basically designed a new platform for him based upon the success, and really discovered his core story. And there wasn't a dry eye in the house. Yeah. That's what made it particularly great, is the depth of emotional connection that happened throughout that experience was pretty profound. But you were there at this point with a whole bunch of new clients as an attendee. So what was your experience? What was your observation that you noticed?
Well, I think the biggest thing is this human actually realized how powerful his story was. And those of us in the group, we're like, if you don't share this, you're actually doing the world a disservice. But he felt like if he shared this story, that he doesn't want to create any manipulative energy.
Yes,
and which I completely resonate with, and I understood where he's coming from. But as we heard it, we're like, we had such an emotional reaction to that. And he's got an incredible opportunity that, he's got a little niche in the real estate investing world that it's low risk. He vets out the deals, but just by knowing who he is as a person makes it 10 times more compelling. And so him not sharing that story is almost like him not revealing who he really is. And so I thought you were expert, as always, in helping him piece it together and see what he has inside, because if you weren't asking him the questions that you were asking him, that story would not even have come out.
Yeah.
And so,
and I will say that there were also people in the room who wanted to become his client right then, and he didn't even have an offer.
Instantly.
Yeah. So, and again, to use the Dan phrase, the best thing to do is make it up, then make it real, but also test it on check writers. And there were check writers in the room who wanted to say yes. Again, it was this intimate experience. So at this point, we've given you the gift of health extension, life extension with diagnostics. So it's certainty, it's clarity, it's confidence, it's courage, the knowledge that someone is there who believes in you and is going to take you to the other side. Now, full disclosure, I brought my 90-year-old mother-in-law who did treatments.
Yeah.
And then Christina Wise, who we're going to talk about next, had her daughter who's in business with her, who's 26 years old.
Right.
And everyone in between. We had vendors there, clients, customers, brand new people we had never met before, because all of us brought in candidates who were paying participants. And this, again, is the benefit when you're doing a free zone like this, is just imagine that whether you do this with us or for yourself. Now, in our particular case, what we look for are complementary businesses. We brought in a partner. Her name's Christina Wise, who also happens to be a client. She's now a client of yours. I referred her. And you've made a dramatic impact on her health, which is she's struggled for years. And she did wealth training, and she brought in some really good clients along with her daughter, who's a business partner, who is, you find out she's 26 years old. She's got a net worth that's approaching $1 million already, that she's done completely by herself by investing in real estate, creating rental properties. And Christina deconstructs her wealth, full transparency down to the dollar.
So impressive. Yeah.
And then gives you the tools and resources. And so my wife Vivian is in the room. It had a tremendous amount of impact on her. It's created new conversations that she and I haven't had before. And then she's got this remarkable ability to help ordinary people with ordinary incomes become multimillionaires very, very quickly because of how she teaches and how she teaches you to think about money. So again, I'm going to pass the torch to you. What was your experience in watching her? And was that the first time you had ever seen her teach and educate before? I can't remember.
Yeah. We've done a podcast together, so I've learned her communication style, but that was the first time I've heard her speak on financial matters. But the thing I got out of it was her confidence and her certainty, and talk about a woman with grit, and someone who I had enormous amount of admiration and respect for. But when I saw what she did with that duplex when she's there with, recently divorced and broke after going high level with Keller Williams, she was one of their top producers for a lot of years, and then to lose everything because she lost her health. And then she just was very, she had persistence, and just learning from somebody like that is very exciting. But not only that, but she brought really amazing humans to the group. Yeah. Because you brought your group, and she brought hers, and there's a lot of synergy there. And it was really interesting to hear not only what she spoke about, but also the way that she's created relationships over the years. And I think it only helped to people in her group just have that much more love and respect and trust in her. Yeah.
And I know, one of the things that I really adore about her. So I met Christina probably 15 years ago, and it was, I think, shortly after her divorce. So she's actually lost her full net worth twice. One was a bad relationship. The other one was health. Okay. So she's in nothing better than multiple reinventions, because by then, you really figured it out, and then systemizing it and then teaching it to other people. And because I've worked with her on her business and her brand, I've talked to her customers. So I can absolutely account for the fact that I've interviewed over 10 of her customers, who many of which have multiple 7-figure net worths right now, who had very modest incomes or very modest businesses and no longer are in that position. And they're like, absolutely, if it weren't for Christina, I wouldn't be where I am, not because of my net worth, but because of the way I think about money. And also, it's not a destructive element in my relationships any longer.
Damn.
Get more clients, grow your business with better marketing and messaging. Make more money and get a better life with more freedom of time, money, relationship, and impact. Learn more about our 3-day one-on-one done-with-you reinvention workshop. Visit connecttomike.com to book a conversation with me right now. All right, back to the episode. The beauty of all these things, when I was looking at some of our slides that are, just so you know, you can go to WLI.live. That's Wealth Longevity International, which is, or Institute rather, where that is the business that we put together. You can get these slides, you can get some additional video content and learn more about either partnering and collaborating with Regan and I. If you are an influencer with an audience where you can get 20 or more people to attend one of these, or if you just want to model what we're doing. And I think the best way to model what we're doing is come to one of them so you can see what we're up to, and that'll get you thinking about how you can do it with other complementary businesses. In our case, we really believe that if we can give you the gift that can't be bought, which is health and longevity, that's a great one. The next one is remarkable experiences with remarkable people, and then help you improve and increase your brand, your capabilities, and your marketing business skills. And then what's the third thing? What can you add that can provide massive value, either as a contributor or as a collaborative partner? That's the first day with that new mouth.
Yes.
So again, I'm on a roll. I know I'm doing a lot of talking here, but I want to, again, pass it to you. What are some other things that are really important people should know that you observed?
Well, I think the biggest thing I observed is Christina Y is amazing. I mean, so much wisdom that she brought in there. But we realized there's no reason why we couldn't bring in somebody who's got, maybe you're in a tech startup company and you want to create some, forge a little more creativity in your group. Maybe you've got, maybe you're a business coach of some type, marketing coach. Maybe you are in the financial industry and you've got, your clients who are, kind of getting in their 50s, 60s, and they're actually thinking about the future and they're saying, what does the next 10 years of my life look like? Well, I've got things figured out financially, but I can tell you I've neglected my health. And so what we've been able to accomplish in just a matter of a day is we put more energy back into the tank than what they do all year from the longevity side. From the thinking side on the business and just the tech side, one of the things you haven't even touched on is how quickly you were able to help everybody in the room use AI as a strategic assistant. And that accelerated everybody's confidence in their own future because they started realizing, oh, Mike just gave me like 12 shortcuts. Because if you guys haven't heard Mike talk about homework, it's almost as bad of a word. Homework is as bad of a word to Mike as retirement is to Dan Sullivan.
Yeah.
And so Mike's always no homework. And so the beautiful thing when you leave there, you are already a year ahead in your business practices because of the technology. I mean, I went and I wrote an entire landing page in 10 minutes. And Mike, I have no capabilities there, but you gave me one little app and there it is. And then I handed it over to my web designer and it's already built. It saves so much time. So I think that's the other piece. But the people we're looking for are really the ones who have amazing people that they want to bring together, people you want to connect with. I host these retreats at my clinic individually for my clients. And the reason I started doing that is because I wanted to get them all together in the same room so they could meet people and create lifetime relationships.
Yes.
And so, our goal when we have these is we want to create more freedom, more connection, more growth. And then we really want to create a future that's much bigger, brighter, and healthier than your past.
Yes. I think, again, when I think about what happens, so again, when you create experiences like what we've done, it's easy to fall in the trap and think, oh my God, I've got to spend so much time on the curriculum. I've got to spend so much time providing value. And what happens organically and naturally is time and time again, it's about the depth of the relationships that are created, the fact that conversations can take place. The curriculum, I see it as a vehicle to start a different conversation. Or when we as the founders and owners of this have the courage to share. Like, I opened up the kimono and I'm like, okay, I know that I'm going to show some of my flaws here, my physical flaws. And when we were in Dallas doing the full body scan, we found out that due to chemo, my brain had shrunk. Okay. And it was the first time we had heard about it. And the doctor basically said, you've got the brain of an 80-year-old. And Vivian just fell apart. She wasn't ready for it. I was like, well, this kind of sucks. Well, it doesn't feel that way to me, but I wouldn't know the difference. But it was, it was raw.
Yeah.
And I think for the folks in the room, the impact it had on them was, wow, what, the willingness to be open. I had a lot of people walk up afterwards, the same thing about the blood work. But when that happens and you start a conversation that's deeper than normal, things go a lot deeper, a lot faster. And that's what people remember. It's the depth of the conversations, the depth of the relationships, and how real they are. And the experience itself is a nice thing. It's super useful, but they'll always come back and say, I made a lifelong friend. And going back, and I know after doing events now for 20 years, I still have people walk up to me saying, I made my first $1 million because I was at your event in 2008, or I met my business partner at one of your events. We're still going strong. We've got an 8-figure business. And I remember there were a couple occasions where people met their spouses. So I can attest to, that's a soft byproduct that you can never predict or control. But when you're putting great people in a room, magic happens.
Yeah. And I've always had a saying, and that healing doesn't happen alone. And so people try to do so many things on their own. You're listening to this on YouTube or a podcast or whatever form you're consuming this interview in. But really, if you think about being connected to other humans, that's where transformations occur, and those are some of the most impactful, meaningful opportunities we have in life. And I can tell you, when I do some lab reviews, the majority of them are one-on-one, yes, very confidential, HIPAA compliant. But when we get in a room and then people start asking questions about their labs, it may not be you, but you have that same thing on your mind. What does that mean, and what can I do about it immediately so I can start feeling better? The creativity and the progress happens so much faster. And just even social proof, when you see other people and you say, man, they're making a wise decision. You can't help it. But if you're around someone who eats healthy, you're going to eat healthy. If you're around people who are fit and they exercise all the time, you're going to do the same. And that's what happens when we put you in this room is we start spawning people who really start thinking about health in totally different ways.
That is absolutely true. So let's talk a little bit about, we're just going to make a bold ask on this program, which I don't usually do, but I feel so strongly because, again, today, when we were building this out, now that we've prototyped it, we know it works, we've seen the results, and the impact it's had. We've made a hard commitment, so much so that this is a real business now, and we've got a logo and everything. But I want to talk and create the offer here for everyone who's watching, which is what the Wealth Longevity Institute's all about, who it's for, and how you can participate. Again, either as a partner where you would become, as long as you have the capacity to put a minimum of 20 people into a room, and so you're an influencer enough to do that, and this isn't a free event, and the goal is there are 2 to 3 days in duration. You get the full health longevity experience with diagnostics and implementation, meaning while we were here, we got all sorts of longevity treatments. We got access to the latest biohacking equipment in your environment. I do what I do, which is marketing, business, cutting edge, including right now we're focused a lot of our energy on AI and how you can use that as a founder, owner, implementer, and then whatever your skills are, if you're going to be one of the contributor partners. So that's option one. Option 2, and by the way, we've got all the marketing material done. We've got the curriculum done. We know how to market this. We know how to sell it. We know how to implement it. All you got to do is show up and put some people in a room. The second way is as a partner, or as a participant rather, to experience this. Now, no matter what, you need to experience this anyway, whether you're going to become a partner or not. So that's one of our requirements, is you just got to get in there so you can experience it and know that you resonate with us. If you haven't worked with us before, you're not already a patient of Regan's or a client of mine. And then this, and I think that's the key thing. You can go to wli.live to learn more, and also get a copy of Regan's latest book, which is the Peptide Blueprint, brand new, and also a copy of my book, Your Next Act. That's going to be one of the goodies and giveaways just for showing up and requesting some more information, which is video, the presentation deck, etc. Continue on. What else do they get, and who's this for? What did I forget to mention?
Yeah, well, I think it's for people who recognize that when health improves, everything improves. And that means your business, your life, your creativity, the innovations. It's for people who want to make their next 10 years their healthiest and their best 10 years, or their most fulfilling and meaningful 10 years. It's also for people who don't want to die by neglect. You know, a lot of us, you know, we put our business in front of our health, and so if you're at that stage of life where you're ready to make a shift, and especially you leaders and influencers out there, that's why Mike and I were kind of nudging you, like, you need to walk the talk first, because we want people fully immersed in the experience. You know, that kind of one bad apple. We haven't had a single bad apple in any of our events. They've been impeccable, and we just want to keep our winning streak high. And so we want to make sure that you are, you know, fully engaged in the process. So, you know, it's not for somebody who is, you know, looking to have some kind of crazy sales pitch or something like that, where it's a completely open, collaborative, peaceful environment. So we don't want any aggressors out there. We want people who are ambitious, who have a really amazing businesses that provide enormous value in society, and people who influence others for good.
Yeah. And I will say that a natural thing that happens is, if you're bringing in people who are already your customers, they're not only going to thank you for it, they're going to want to do whatever you talk about. Okay, so the point being, you don't have to pitch or sell anything. They're going to say, what else can we do together?
Right.
You're going to create lifelong collaborative partners out of your best customers and clients. The other thing is, they are going to thank you. Like, I'd say without exception now, and I'm batting pretty close to 100%. You'll have to tell me if that's the case. I introduce you to all of my customers, and I think, or clients, and if not all of them, pretty close to all of them become clients of yours, because I'm like, this is, because they always say, well, why do you have so much energy? Why do you look so good? You look younger than you did 10 years ago. And it's like, I'll tell you why. Regan Archibald, that's why. You got to talk to him. Let's let him do your blood panel first. He's going to tell you exactly what's going on in your body, and you'll like him. But then the opportunity for you to shine and be able to present and share your latest stuff, it creates so much engagement with people that we introduce you to as well. And I will consistently say that my goal is always to not only help you 10x the value of whatever your offer is, it's create more value, get paid more, and we're going to hook you up with people who are going to help you keep more of your money, have better life quality, wealth quality, and lifestyle quality. And then you're going to meet people who will become lifelong friends who share your values as well. And that's part of what makes this work so well. That really was our motivator when we said, you know, what are the shared common mindsets and values that make this tick? Yeah.
And the thing I noticed too is, when we got to the end of the third day, it went really fast. I mean, it was, I had one person there, they said the worst part of this was when it was over, because we have to leave now. But everybody, you know, who Christina brought, they thanked Christina. Hey, thanks for introducing me to Mike, and thanks for introducing me to Regan. They just felt like overwhelmed with gratitude because they were able to learn so much. Likewise, when I've introduced you two, thanks for introducing me to Mike, because you're such a dynamic human, so rare. Not only that, but you have skill sets that are, they're surgical when you look at it, how precise you can get with messaging, with branding, with a mission. You help pull out a whole side of myself that nobody else has been able to. And so, I have a debt of gratitude towards you. And, and so once again, when people can expose their community to you, it just increases their credibility, increases that relationship. It just creates this nice place that we call, through Dan Sullivan, the free zone.
Yeah.
Which is there's no competition. It's just complete collaboration.
Yes. Yeah. Competition-free, collaborative, free zone. And getting back to what I wanted to say at the very beginning of this, and I didn't, is Dan Sullivan's vision and dream for the free zone, which he turns 79 in May of this year, is to have created a $15 trillion economy inside of Strategic Coach. And I told him, one of the reasons I'm in there, if I had to describe what my moonshot is, I want to be a significant participant in creating that economy. I believe in it so strongly, even though the first time I heard it, I thought, oh, you crazy old man, that's just completely nuts. And until I saw the impact, and he's like, well, we're already a long way there. We've created hundreds of billions of dollars in value already, just in the people who belong to Strategic Coach. I thought, well, yeah, if you get people together who intentionally do this, and now if there's one grand lesson I've learned, now that I'm seeing what AI is capable of doing, the Industrial Revolution created millionaires. The information and internet revolution created billionaires. AI revolution is going to create trillionaires, trillionaire businesses, and I think the first trillionaire individual. And so I think that future is closer than we realize. And you're not going to enjoy it if you're not in perfect health. You're not going to enjoy it if you're not around right fit, values compatible people in a community of trust that is really looking out for each other with a free zone mentality. So I think the best way to create a free zone is be the free zone and think that way. And it's why I asked you to do this podcast today. It's because, you're a perfect partner for it, and you're doing a perfect thing that everyone needs.
Well, and I think if we all look at what we want to, what we derive out of life as far as experiences go, having innovative experiences that help you, as Mike says, live forever, get paid, and procreate.
Yeah. I like that. It's get paid, get laid, live forever. That's the definition of a better life. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Mic drop.
Yes, but I think we can all aspire to doing the things that we love and appreciating life that much more. And so, Mike, I've really enjoyed these masterminds that we're putting together. The Wealth Longevity Institute, for those of you who just want to kind of pick apart that name a little bit, wealth goes far beyond money. I mean, if you think about what wealth is it's a mindset. It's what your values are. It's the life that you're living. Longevity. There's so many technologies coming up, and we were able to administer that on about 20 people at the last event, and those people are feeling even your 90-year-old mother-in-law. I mean, she had some improvements. I mean, it's great to see. It's only been 2 weeks and she looks younger. She's more stable, seems more agile. So it's really exciting to see that there's great things out there, and this will be something that I think we're going to have a long runway where a lot of people are going to have their lives changed through this collaboration. Yeah,
I'm positive. Yeah. My 90-year-old mother-in-law, Mirta Glick, has lost about 10 pounds, but it's a noticeable. And what we've observed, she's got more energy. That's what Vivian says. She seems to be more stable. Also, she's an old lady. She was getting up, going pee 5-6 times during the night, and she's getting up maybe once right now. And that happened the first week. It happened really, really fast. So, as I like to say, if it can happen for her, it can happen for anyone. And the greatest gift we can ever have is to keep our loved ones around longer when they feel good and have their energy. You know, that you don't want to prolong misery. But what I saw is an improvement. I can't wait to see where she is 3 months from now and 3 years from now.
Yeah.
So with that, here's my ask for you watching, listening right now. First of all, head on over to WLI.live. There you can download our presentation deck. There are application buttons. One is to be a participant. The other one is to be a collaborator. Again, the requirements would be you'd need to be an influencer, being able to put a minimum of 20 people into a room. What we'd say are right fit people who would want to experience something like this. And you'll also get a more in-depth video that goes into some of the details. You'll get a copy of Regan's book, The Peptide Blueprint, and a copy of my book, Your Next Act, as a gift from us for stopping by as well. What else did I maybe forget to drop in?
That's the biggest thing. Come ready to really have an impact on your life and on others' life. I think it could be one of the funnest projects that I've ever done in my life. So I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, me too. And the other thing is we've done the thinking. We've already done the work. We've prototyped it. We've proven the model. We've already done the marketing. So the stuff that's hard is out of the way. And all it needs is you and your expertise, your knowledge, or your participation as a participant as well.
Yeah. And you will feel like a VIP when you come. That's what every single person said. I felt like I was the only one here. I was a VIP. So get ready to feel good.
Yeah, VIP. All right. Well, that's it. So this is Capability Amplifier. Thanks for watching. Make sure you give Regan some big love in the comments. And of course, anytime you drop in a 5-star review on iTunes, that's cool too. Anywhere else anyone should go other than WLI.live, Regan?
You can go to thepeptideexpert.com if you have any interest in learning about peptides and how they can help you get healthier and feel your best, look your best, and perform your best.
Rock and roll. All right. Well, that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we'll see you in the next show. Bye-bye.